Best Places to Visit in the Caribbean for 2024. Number 17 is Guadeloupe. There's no doubt Guadeloupe possesses a certain je ne sais quoi, a spark that separates its sun-washed coasts from other Caribbean getaways. Sparkling white and black sand beaches extend into calm, cerulean waters, and verdant forests border the imposing La Soufriere volcano. And just a few miles south, quaint villages welcome visitors to centuries-old distilleries and remote sugar plantations. Put simply, Guadeloupe features an unspoiled natural setting with rustic charms. But that's not all this picturesque cluster of islands has to offer. Where else can you savor the sweet aroma of sugar and rum wafting through the air, taste tantalizing French Creole flavors, and lay your towel down along untouched stretches of sandy bliss? Number 16 is Aruba. Believe it or not, the Spanish colonists who settled in Aruba and her sister islands of Bonaire and Curacao in 1513 nicknamed them the Islas Inútiles, or useless islands. They couldn't have been more wrong. Centuries later, this southern Caribbean cluster is using an arid climate and minimal rainfall in their favor. Aruba in particular lures tourists with its blindingly white beaches and craggy limestone landscape. And with its extensive underwater visibility, this island is a preferred getaway for divers looking to explore buried shipwrecks or to study some magnificent coral reefs up close. Inflated room rates and airfares, some of the most expensive in all of the Caribbean, have nurtured Aruba's reputation for exclusivity, but just take one look around Palm Beach and you'll see that's not the case. College kids, honeymooners, young families and baby boomers are all jockeying for their own piece of shade under the nearest DVD tree. Those colonists be damned, Aruba is indeed being put to good use. 16th on the list is St. Martin. If you associate the Caribbean with a laid-back atmosphere, a tranquil beach and a quiet sunset, then you haven't been to feisty St. Martin and St. Martin. What's the best part of visiting this dual-governed island? You can get a taste of two distinct, lively cultures all for the price of one vacation. Like much of the Caribbean, the island was hit hard by Hurricane Irma in 2017. Make sure you call or check the websites of any businesses you plan to visit in advance to check on their status. The 37-square-mile dot is popular with travelers who like to eat well, party hard and shop duty-free in between trips to the beach. The north side, St. Martin, is controlled by the French government. It's the home of the island's tastiest restaurants and party beaches. Whereas cosmopolitan St. Martin shelters the most animated casinos, bars and clubs. A territory of the Netherlands Antilles, St. Martin takes up the southern 16 square miles. But for all the excitement, St. Martin and St. Martin still foster a stress-free vibe, starting out with how easily you can pass between both sides of the island. So catch a few morning rays on a quiet Dutch-side beach, later, take a leisurely afternoon stroll through a French-side mountain. You'll be more than primed to sneak back over the border for a night in the casinos. Number 14 is Jamaica. To many, it is the heart of the Caribbean. The birthplace of reggae music, the Rastafari movement and all-inclusive resorts, Jamaica symbolizes many of the things most loved and, perhaps, most misunderstood about the region. A simple remedy to clear the confusion? Come to the land of sugar cane, coffee and limestone, and form your own opinion. Your new ideas are bound to be swathed in cream-colored beaches, bordered by rugged blue mountains and anchored in foamy waterfalls. As the third-largest island of the Caribbean, Jamaica is hard to cover in one trip. Rather, it's best to choose your activities and vacation priorities, then make your hotel plans accordingly. Of the three main tourist pockets on the island, westernmost Negril is popular for its beaches and upscale accommodations, northwestern Montego Bay is well-liked by golfers, and Ocho Rios in the northeast appeals most to adventurous types who might be interested in climbing waterfalls like Dunn's River. Some visitors choose the eastern area of Port Antonio to try top-notch surfing at Boston Beach, hiking amongst the Blue Mountains and rafting on the Rio Grande River. The 13th is Curacao features historic settlements, rugged landscapes and plenty of fun in the sun. Aruba and Bonaire are the other islands constituting the westernmost islands of the Leeward Antilles. Curaçao's main port city, Willemstad, is what an old-world European city would look like if someone dropped it in the Caribbean. The brightly painted Dutch colonial buildings reflect pinks, yellows and blues into the cerulean St. Anna Bay. Once you leave the city, the landscape shifts to a desert scene, with spiny aloe and mesquite sprouting from atop weathered limestone cliffs. But its real draw is the beach. Picture-perfect bays and coves flank the island, their turquoise waters lapping gently against powdery white sand. Reefs teem with marine life, providing excellent underwater playgrounds for scuba divers and snorkelers. Best of all, the semi-arid island is sheltered from the worst of the Atlantic's hurricane season. Gentle trade winds keep temperatures in the mid-80s, so you can enjoy the outdoors year-round. Number 12 is Antigua. Historic sites, tasty cuisine and a lively cultural scene can all be found on Antigua. But most often it's the beauty and versatility of the island's 365 beaches that draw travelers from afar. Do you like to party in the sand? Are you looking for safe, shallow waters where your kids can play? Would you be interested in exploring the ocean deep? This paradise in the Leeward Islands has you covered with one beach for every day of the year. Save your breaks from the sand and sun for the go-to sites of Antigua. Its sleepy sister island, Barbuda, has a more relaxed, less touristy feel. If you do venture to Antigua's attractions, you'll find that the panoramic view from Shirley Heights or the fascinating history of the Cathedral of St. John the Divine are largely overlooked by the sun worshippers who have set up camp along the shores. That will just make your sightseeing trips all the more pleasant. You'll have fewer people to wrestle with as you uncover some of this island's hidden charm. 11th on the list is St. Kitts and Nevis. These little-known but luxurious twin islands in the southern Caribbean are stunning, beckoning travelers looking for a combination of resort vacations and picturesque scenery with adventure and history. St. Kitts is more sociable, with the widest selection of restaurants, bars and hotels. Shy and lush Nevis displays the luxury that has become the region's hallmark. Privacy may be the number one appealing factor. There are no streetlights on Nevis, but there are plenty of other lures as well. Take, for example, the sloping courses of the Royal St. Kitts Golf Club. Do you want culture? These islands have it. Just check out the St. Kitts Winter Carnival or the music festival held every June. And history buffs will surely find them. Nevis is the home island of founding father Alexander Hamilton. The imposing Brimstone Hill Fortress on St. Kitts was once known as the Gibraltar of the West Indies, and St. Kitts Scenic Railroad introduces travelers to the roots of the sugar cane. Meanwhile, those who come solely for the beach can relax with a good book in several white sand oases such as Wally Beach and Frigate Bay. Number 10 is Grenada. It isn't the cost of the airfare or the caliber of the hotel that you'll remember most about your trip to Grenada. It's the kaleidoscope of reds, yellows, and greens that characterize St. George's Harbor, arguably the most beautiful in the Caribbean, and how they're reflected in the cerulean water. It's the sound of the waves lapping against Grand Anse's soft sands that echoes in your ears long after the sun goes down. It's the aroma of nutmeg and vanilla that wafts through Market Square and throughout the island's spice plantations. It's the warm sensation you feel in your stomach and on your tongue after sampling the River Antoine Distillery's 150 proof rum. Grenada isn't just meant to be seen, it's meant to be savored. Americans have long overlooked Grenada, opting for showier, resort-laden islands. But Yanks, take a hint from the Brits who have spent many a winter here. Grenada is worth visiting. Sure, this part of the Windward Islands doesn't feature the sprawling all-inclusives or glitzy nightclubs of St. Lucia or Barbados. In fact, you may even be hard-pressed to find a fellow American here. But that's the key to Grenada's charm. The 9th is St. Barts. There's no doubt that the French Caribbean island of St. Barthélemy is in vogue with A-listers and yachters alike, and oftentimes appears out of reach for the average traveler. But it's far from snooty if the sight of those free-roaming iguanas is any proof, and it's also more accessible than you might think. Careful and early planning will ensure that your island getaway is priced on par with other Caribbean destinations. The island is ideal for those seeking a Euro-themed utopia with plenty of stunning beaches, upscale hotels, private villas and trendy restaurants. Those looking for an island with exciting nightlife and offshore activities should check out Street Barts Cousins, Martinique or St. Martin for more diversions. Number 8 is Bahamas. The roughly 700 islands that make up the Bahamas lure millions of visitors to this paradise's white sandy shores, duty-free shops, fishing and scuba diving excursions and luxurious accommodations each year. Families that flock here tend to indulge in the diversions of Atlantis, Paradise Island and other mega resorts, but this diverse island chain also offers a range of activities away from the hotel zone. Nature enthusiasts can explore pristine protected areas like the Leon Levy Native Plant Preserve on Eleuthera and Lucia National Park on Grand Bahama Island, or take it easy at one of the country's many beaches or private islands. Meanwhile, history buffs can explore the ruins and artifacts from the colonial era and indigenous peoples like the Lucayan Indians. Plus, with cruise deals available year-round, it's no wonder why the Bahamas is such a popular vacation destination. The 7th is Barbados. You can find a white sand beach, a sprawling golf course or a duty-free shopping plaza just about anywhere in the Caribbean, but in Barbados, visitors can taste the bittersweet Mount Gay rum, dance to the thrum of a calypso song or take in a polo or cricket match. And though you could spend all your time on the beaches, you'll find plenty more to do when exploring this Caribbean paradise. This luxurious island is brimming with breathtaking architecture, a passionate sports culture and a party-loving attitude. The easternmost island in the Caribbean, Barbados juggles two different cultures to create a distinctly Bajan personality. Even after gaining its independence from Great Britain in 1966, this island still holds tight to British traditions like afternoon tea, cricket and horse races. Trademarks of the Caribbean and West Africa are still evident, however, in the island's sugarcane fields, rum distilleries and lush landscapes. And then there are the many beaches. While all of Barbados' shorelines boast picturesque views and calming ocean breezes, some of the country's must-visit beaches include Dover Beach, Bathsheba Beach and the sands overlooking Carlisle Bay. Number 6. The charming Cayman Islands continue to be a coveted Caribbean getaway for both adventure and relaxation-seeking travelers. Coral reefs and shipwrecks call to divers as the rum punch calls to the beach bums. Honeymooners hike through the 200-year-old Mastic Trail while parents take their children for interactive swims at Stingray City. Whichever way you choose to mellow out, the Cayman Islands can oblige. The Cayman Islands are an archipelago of 3 islands that sit 150 miles south of Cuba. The largest, Grand Cayman, is full of gargantuan resorts with all-inclusive options, perfect for those who prefer pre-planned itineraries and don't mind sharing the sights with cruise crowds. Meanwhile, the less-traveled Cayman Brac and Little Cayman boast some of the best diving in the Caribbean. Number 5 is St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Imagine it, thatched roof cottages rise over turquoise waters, the sweet scent of tropical flowers and rum punch fills the air, bronzed sun worshippers sprawl along isolated white sands, hemmed by shimmering waves, coral reefs and sleek yachts. The only thing luring you away from your beach towel is the intriguing network of secluded islands floating in the distance. Welcome to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. If you don't want to spend your days sunning along one picturesque isle, St. Lucia, or savoring conch with throngs of tourists on 2 street kits in Nevis, then you should venture to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. With 32 remote islands and cays boasting emerald hills, postcard-worthy harbors, and boutique hotels, this Caribbean destination makes a perfect escape. Devote a few days to exploring St. Vincent, the biggest island of the chain, before sailing to Mustique, Canoan and Bequia, some of the Grenadines' finest and exclusive hideaways. However, exploring this quiet, less-traveled tropical paradise requires many hours in transit, there's no direct flight from the US, and a thick wallet. Number 4. The U.S. Virgin Islands are America's Caribbean paradise, the place to see moco jumbies, stilt walkers, dance at a carnival parade, hear the lilting patois of a Creole dialect or smell the spices in a saltfish pâté, all without losing cell phone reception. You can visit either St. Thomas, St. John or St. Croix, or better yet, spend a little time on all three islands. That way you'll get plenty of pampering, undisturbed nature and colonial history jammed into one vacation. Each island offers something different. Called Rock City for its hilly, craggy horizon, St. Thomas is known for luxury, from the megayachts moored in the harbor to the high-end storefronts along Main Street. Located a short ferry ride east, St. John appeals to honeymooners and nature lovers, with more than 7,000 acres of dedicated parkland, along with pristine beaches. Way down south in the Caribbean Sea, St. Croix allows visitors to explore the island's colonial heritage and the history of slavery at several different forts and plantations. Plus, it's on this island that you'll find the Cruzan Rum Distillery. Number 3 is the British Virgin Islands, are some of the most exclusive and least developed islands of the Caribbean, but this only adds to their appeal. The resorts, villas, restaurants and other tourist attractions in this paradise are known to emphasize spare luxury over sprawling expansion, and they attract travelers with deep pockets and a love for sailing and seclusion. Many travelers who visit come by ferry boat from another Caribbean isle, especially as some find opulent exile too hard to enjoy for longer than a day or two. And some say it's better to split your time between here, the nearby U.S. Virgin Islands and Anguilla to the east. Second on the list, lush, unspoiled St. Lucia is a hit with travelers of all kinds. Some of its vacationers are music lovers, letting loose at the springtime Street Lucia Jazz and Arts Festival. Meanwhile, adrenaline junkies test their limits by climbing the Pitons or zip-lining through the Chassin region's rainforest. Others are honeymooners, unwinding on one of the island's chalky beaches or holing up in one of its isolated resorts. But what if you don't fall into any of these categories? Don't worry, St. Lucia refuses to be pigeonholed as any type of Caribbean vacation. Start your mornings basking in an orange-tinted soufriere sunrise, then round out your evenings at an evening jump-up or dance party along Grow Islet. To discover the rest of the island's indescribable charms, you'll have to visit for yourself. And the leading place is the Turks and Caicos Islands have the perfect antidote for your hectic lifestyle, nearly abandoned, blindingly white sand fringed by shimmering azure water, colorful coral reefs, crispy conch fritters and a sleepy, light-hearted atmosphere. Turks and Caicos holds tight to its reputation as an exclusive and secluded getaway. And regular vacationers to these skinny strips of alabaster sand will tell you that they wouldn't have it any other way. This network of roughly 100 islands and cays has three dominant personalities. There's glamorous Providencials, which shelters a bevy of luxurious hotels. Laid-back Grand Turk is the historic and cultural nucleus and cruise ship hub, best seen in the Turks and Caicos National Museum or along the shores of Cockburn Town, where Christopher Columbus first docked in the Western Hemisphere. Tiny, flat salt cay plays host to the best dives. From here, you can explore one of the largest reef systems in the world.